Casey, it's Ron. Thanks for joining me. Hope everybody's having a nice Memorial Day weekend. I've been a bit busy the past few weekends going around hitting all the record stores, and I got a pretty good pile here of recent finds. I'm going to show those today. So the first one I'm going to show is actually something that come out of a thrift store. That's a pretty rare album, and it's the Silly Surfers. So it's sort of Beach Boys comedy style music on the A side, and then the B side is the Weirdos. It is kind of hot rod style music, and this is a pretty rare album. These things go for about 150 bucks near mint, but this one's a lesser copy. It's a bit rough, you know, but it actually plays pretty good. And this was picked up a year after it came out and reissued on Mercury. I threw this sucker under a black light and it glows greenish marble vinyl. And I also got this. This is a 10-inch, and it's the Dickies 1970 ADP. 3 songs. Limited edition white vinyl, still sealed, and I got it at a good price. And this is actually 3 songs that are off of their album, The Incredible Shrinking Dickies. They do a cover version of Paranoid, and they were punk rock, but they had a humorous, zany, wacky style to them. I mean, any band that would do a cover version of the Banana Splits Tra-La-La song is okay in my book. Okay, this is the Rotary Connection, and this is their second album from 1968. And this is a hard album to find because it just didn't sell in the States. But like, this is a German copy, original. And it's on the chest label, real nice clean shape, and I like this album. It actually surprised me. It's full of psychedelic tricks and very cool. The band is standing on a light socket and they're getting electrocuted due to the short-circuited cord, and this is called Aladdin. And in the States it didn't sell. It got to like 173 on the charts. That's why you never see it. I found out this was the band that actually backed up Muddy Waters on his Electric Mud album from 1968. This is the album that's playing right now, and it's Midge. And this was a blind buy for me. It was a little costly, but it wasn't real expensive, so it was on the ESP label. It looked really cool. I figure it was probably folk psych, and I was right, it is. It's his only album. It was recorded January of '69. Really good album, and I'm definitely glad that I grabbed it. It's called Color by the Number. It has been recently reissued a few years ago on vinyl, so you can get that. I think it's floating around. Picked up a stereo copy of the first Monkees today. Really nice, excellent condition copy. The only thing, it's got a little bit of the back slick is missing right here. But I'll tell you, it's a really nice copy. So usually when you find Monkees albums around here, they're pretty rough, so I didn't hesitate to grab it. Then this is probably about the hardest Monkees album to find. It's Changes, and it's their last album. And you can see there's only 2 Monkees on this album. Some of it is earlier recordings from the early days of the Monkees, and it's on a slightly different Call Gems label. Pretty close to what you normally see, but this is a little bit different. Nice VG Plus copy. Nice near mint cover in the shrink. And this album didn't sell. I think it 170 something on the charts, if I remember right. Real limited pressing. Went out of print pretty quick. Yeah, it's definitely their worst album. Okay, picked this up. She's a Rainbow. Original US copy with the picture sleeve. Great shape, and I got a smoking deal on this, really cheap. And it's got an alternate picture of the Stones that's not on the album cover. You'll notice that Jagger's not crossing his chest with his arms. So pretty cool. Picked up this Beatles Ain't She Sweet. This is a stereo copy on Atco, which is worth twice as much as the monos. This is the 64 pressing. I guess there's a 69 pressing on the yellow label that's worth even more than this copy. So I got this way below value, so pretty happy. I don't really ever remember seeing this. It's kind of a hard one to find. Got an original Searchers, sounds like the Searchers on Pi, original UK copy, and this album wasn't released here in the States. It's got the company sleeve. This is a mono copy with the pink Pi label. It was issued on True Stereo as well. Not an expensive album. I got this for a 10 spot, you know, and it was a big seller in the UK. Pretty good beat music. I like it. This one's pretty rare. This is an original copy of the Plastic Penny, and it's from early '68. They only had 2 albums. Aside from one, their last one was a collection album. It's on the Page One label, which is the same label that the Trogs were on in the UK. And this is actually a True Stereo copy. Most of the copies that are around are mono. I was a bit disappointed in this. I was expecting more of a psych album. It does have a couple of psych songs on it, but it's mostly sort of British soul sound. They had a hit with Everything I Am, the first track on the album, which is a Box Tops cover. But they also do a cover version of Strawberry Fields Forever. The best song on here is Mrs. Grundy, starts off side 2. That's really cool, pop psych. A lot of these members went on to play with other people, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's like a 3-star album. It's really not all that bad. It's just not real psychedelic. Then I got the 6th Budgie album today, and this one's not as good as their earlier albums. This album's from 1976. They were a Welsh band, and this is on the A&M label. They were pioneers in heavy metal, one of the earliest heavy metal bands. The first album's from '71. But really cool album, actually. I mean, I like it. It rates about 2.5 to 3 stars. But definitely would like to check out their earlier albums. Then I picked this up used. It's the Mono Record Store Day, Strange Days from last year. And it comes with the original inner sleeve, reproduction of it. This sounds really good. It's mastered off the original master tapes, and really cool to hear this album in mono. I could hear little differences for sure. They made a lot of these though for Record Store Day. I guess I heard 125,000 or something like that. Quite a few of them. No, not 125,000. What am I saying? 1,250, I think it was. Okay, the next one is another reissue. And this is US 69, Yesterday's Folks. 1969 Psych album on Buddha. This is a reissue. And it's pretty good. It's got some Eastern flavor. It's got some soul rock flavor. Pretty cool. Yeah, I passed up an original one of these once, and it was definitely a mistake because it was probably only about $10. Then I picked this up, Ultimate Prophecy by J.D. Blackfoot, Mercury label. And reviews are mixed on this. It's alright. It's kind of urban rock, Side 2 is pretty trippy, pretty decent. It used to be highly rated, but I think a lot of people are kind of changed their opinions about it. It didn't get very good reviews in the Acid Archives, but it's still cool. It's worth having probably. Picked up this Kraftwerk album. It's a 09 reissue of Computer World, and this is an Australian pressing, and it's on clear vinyl. So I got this used today near mint, so that was a nice find. This is another weird album. It's Seventh Wave Sci-Fi, and they were a UK band. Sort of a science fiction, progressive, little bit of glam thrown in, I think maybe. It's on the Janus label, US copy. I got it cheap. I took a chance on it. It's not bad. It may be their only album. 1975. Interesting album. Nothing great though. And I found out that my copy of Captain Beyond has a nice glow pattern when I put it under the black light. So this is what it looks like. And so yeah, I've been looking over my albums under a black light. Albums are a lot harder to find than I think singles that glow. Oh, and I guess there's this thread going around. Show your incense or something like that. And Randy Deadwax66 showed a whole boatload of incense. I guess he went out and he bought a big tub of it or something. I don't know what he did, but he had a lot of it. So I told him I would show mine, and this is some vintage stuff right here. And I actually got this at a thrift store. It was hanging in a bag with a bunch of other junk thrown in. And it still has the original incense in it. It's missing a few cones, but for the most part the whole box is still there. I think it's got 15 cones, and originally came with 18 cones. It's Rama Hindu incense, and it's made expressively for the SS Cressage Company. out of Chicago. And I found out on the internet that that company became Kmart. This was a 5 and dime store back in the day. Really nice stores that they had. And the artwork on this particular box, you can see, is copyrighted 1934. And they actually had some incense from 1922 with a different box. And they had different scents. This one's pine. They had several different scents that you could get. It has the original, here's the cones. I got almost a whole box of them. And it comes with this insert. Now it says that it was used as a germicide, and that was discovered during World War II. I had never heard of that before, so I don't know if that's the truth or not, but it's interesting. And this particular box, it says you could get extra boxes for 25 cents. From what I've kind of found out on the internet, this is probably from 1945 up through about maybe the mid-50s is when this box came out. Okay, I got one more thing here, and this is a local record. It's the Trunk Federation, and the name of the record is Winnie, and it's 94 grunge rock, pretty good. And they had several records. I think they had probably maybe a tape or a CD, I don't know. But this record is named after Winnie Ruth Judd, and you can see her mugshots there. And this is a later picture of her right here. And she was a murderess here in Phoenix. She killed 2 women in 1931. She shot them, and then she dismembered one of them so that she could get the body parts in a couple of the smaller trunks that she had. But one of the bodies she put in one large trunk. It was a huge story, worldwide, international news. And because it's very unusual for a woman to do that back then. And it was all part of a love triangle gone bad, jealousy. And the house is still here in Phoenix. And I was reading about this on the internet. There's a lot of information about this case on the internet. So I know where the house is, and I'm planning on going over there tonight. So that's how the end of this video is going to end. We're going to go over there, and I'm going to film the house where the murders took place. So that should be interesting. So hold on to your seat, because here we go. Okay, I'm walking up towards the Judd murder house, and the wind is whipping up around here. It's kind of creepy. It looks like there's some construction going on, and they have the house itself is all fenced, but I noticed there's a open area that I can film through. It's right up here in the corner. So I'll be there in about a minute. Okay, I'm coming up onto the Judd murder house right now, and then we're in a back neighborhood, and there's a lot of office buildings around here, and there's a parking garage right here. And basically what happened 85 years ago, in 1931, Winnie Judd was in a love relationship with a wealthy businessman, and she was cheating on her husband. And 2 other women that were friends of hers got involved with him as well. So there was some jealousy going on, and evidently something happened where she entered the home one night where these two women lived that were her friends, and after she'd shot them and disposed of their bodies in some trunks, she bought a train ticket to LA, and she went with the bodies to LA. While in the train station, blood started coming out of the trunks. A train station attendant noticed it and questioned her about it, and she said she didn't have the key, and then she fled. Well, they later caught her, took her to trial, and she did spend some time in Florence State Prison, but after the trial she got sent to a mental institution here in Phoenix for more than 3 decades by reason of insanity. She escaped a total of 6 times during that time period. She was eventually paroled in 1983, and she died in 1998 here in Phoenix at a very old age, in her 90s. And this is the house right here. It was originally a duplex, and this is it. It was vacant for a long time, and then they renovated it, and I guess there was people living here. So somebody just walked by. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it's been designated a historical site by the city, and pretty creepy place. I'm getting chills just standing here. But yeah, the 2 ladies lived here, and Winnie Judd, she just lived with them occasionally when her husband was out of town. So they were close friends. She had access to the house. So that's it, and I've about had enough. I'm getting the creeps here. What? Shit.